During this lesson you will be required to fill out a worksheet. I recommend you read through the worksheet before viewing the lesson. In order to give you time to do this, you can use the pause button at the bottom of the screen. Learning outcomes. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to list 3 important points to remember when covering building work during winter weather. State the precautions that should be taken to protect materials stored on site during winter. List 3 negative effects of adding anything to trail-ready mortar. State at what temperature on site should all work using cement stop, and when should it commence again. List 2 precautions that should be taken if ice is present on scaffolding. And state why building should never be carried out on frozen foundations. Winter working. Winter weather can make it very difficult for builders to get on with the job. In very severe conditions, sites can be at a standstill for weeks on end. Frost, rain and high winds can play havoc with newly built work unless proper precautions are taken. Good planning and preparation of the site, care of stored materials, protection of completed work can all help to reduce problems. Protecting work. Long-term disruption of work during winter periods can be avoided by proper planning. All newly erected work and work under construction should be kept covered. The covers should be waterproof and should be kept clear of the wall face to prevent staining. We can see here the use of battens and scaffolding planks in order to keep the waterproof cover away from the face of the wall. The cover should be removed when the temperature rises to encourage drying out. All materials should be protected with waterproof covers upon arrival on site, including those stacked on scaffolds. When using retarded mortars, trail-ready mortars, it's recommended that nothing should be added such as additional water or washing up liquid. This can affect the colour, the strength and the setting time of the mortar. When work has finished for the day, all inside scaffolding boards must be turned over to prevent bad staining of the face work by overnight rain. It's important that when you turn these boards over, you push them back into position so there's no traps left in beside the wall. Here's an example of some damage caused by failure to turn back scaffolding planks containing fresh mortar, and also the effects of not covering brickwork during heavy rain. We can see there's lots of efflorescence staining and also mortar staining down the face of the wall, the face of the brickwork. Questions. List 3 important points to remember when covering building work during winter weather. State the precautions that should be taken to protect materials stored on site during winter. List 3 negative effects of adding anything to trail-ready mortar. Temperatures. As a general rule, all work using cement should stop if the temperature reaches 3 degrees Celsius and falling. Work should start if the temperature reaches 3 degrees Celsius and rising. The temperature should be checked in a shaded area, usually near the site office. If ice or frost are present on the scaffold, Work should not commence until the scaffold has been completely thawed out, or the boards are turned over with the dry side up. This should only be done by the scaffolder on site. When the boards are turned over, they're put back into their original position. Water for mixing may be heated. However, on building sites, this is not always practical. Never use accelerators intended for use in concrete as an antifreeze in mortar, especially in cavity work, as they may cause corrosion of the cavity tiles. Any materials affected by ice or frost must not be used until they are completely thawed out. No work should be carried out on frozen foundations, as severe damage can be caused by movement when water in the ground thaws. Also, fresh mortar can become frozen when spread on top of a frozen foundation. Questions. State at what temperature on site should all work using cement stop, and when should it commence again? List two precautions that should be taken if ice is present on scaffolding. State why buildings should never be carried out on frozen foundations. In conclusion, in winter weather, coverings should be 1. Waterproof, 2. Kept clear of the face of the wall, and 3. Removed when weather improves to allow drying. Materials stored during winter should be covered. Negative effects of adding anything to trowel-ready mortar are: they can affect its strength, obviously make it weaker. They can affect the colour. Adding water, for example, if excessive amounts of water will make the colour a lot lighter. And it can also affect its setting time. If you add dirty water, it can speed up the setting process. All work using cement should stop at 3 degrees Celsius and falling, and should recommence at 3 degrees Celsius and rising. If ice is present on the scaffolding, either turn over the planks or wait for it to thaw out. Never build on frozen foundations, as the fresh mortar can become frozen.